Welcome to episode 9 of our FIFA 22 Newcastle United Career Mode, where we'll be starting the 5th and final season of the save. Last year's Premier League title has checked off the main objective of this career mode, but there's still more to play for. Surprisingly enough, this will be our first season in Champions League, as we've been placed in a group with Leverkusen, Anderlecht, and Lokomotiv Moscow. Looking at the squad, we have some standout players that I think could lead us to success in Europe, but I'm continuing to try to make strides and improve this team even further, especially when we have 125+ million to work with, trying to meet as many board objectives as possible and increase that manager rating from 66. The main looks will be trying to repeat as Premier League champions and reach the final, if not win, the Champions League. I'm sure most of you watching will know that some of the CPU transfers that go down in career mode aren't the most realistic, so we'll be looking to bring back some ex-Premier League center backs as we look to upgrade at that position. Tomori at an 85 playing at Leverkusen, John Stones at an 86 playing at Napoli. Perhaps the biggest surprise was Harry Maguire making the transfer to Spain at an 86 overall, but we will be eventually going after another Real Madrid defender. It is Joe Gomez. I would argue he's one of Liverpool's best defenders when he's healthy IRL, but at this stage of career mode, at an 88 overall, he is just going to be amazing in-game. Already quite quick, and those defensive attributes will have gone up. It will be a hefty fee, a 9-digit sum. 100 million is what we had to spend in order to bring in Gomez, but I think the transfer is going to be worth it despite depleting our transfer budget. I was, on the other hand, open to letting some players go. If we want to be completely accurate with the goal storyline with Santiago, we would be letting him make the transfer to Real Madrid. Unfortunately, I don't think any offers will be coming in, as Madrid have signed Haaland, who essentially is the best striker in the game. Maybe we could pull something off in terms of swap deals, but for now, Santiago will be staying at the club. Isaac Hayden, on the other hand, I've been considering transfer listing him for a while. Finally, we received some offers from Premier League clubs. You might remember that Villa actually finished second in the Prem last year behind us. I'm not sure if Hayden will play as a center back or a center defensive midfielder, but it's a 25 million fee that we're able to bring in. Another player that used to play a prominent starting role for us, but has now gotten older and phased out of the starting 11 and substitutes, is Miguel Almiron. He'll be heading to Roma for a 21 million transfer. Despite efforts to feature him in cup fixtures and send him out on loan, Freddie Woodman just hasn't reached a high enough rating to justify a starting or backup goalkeeper role, so I figure we may as well let him leave for Watford. It was a 10.3 million transfer. And finally, one of our better youth academy prospects that, again, just never broke into the first team. We need to bring in more funds in order to make more signings, so we'll happily take the 22.5 million that Brighton offered for Godfrey. With two aging goalkeepers, it's probably best that we make the upgrade at GK. Unai Simon is actually still at Athletic Club Bilbao. It's cool to see that they've been able to somewhat keep the Basque policy going on. 60 million is a lot to pay for the 28-year-old shot stopper, but he is going to become the best goalkeeper we've had in this save. I was quite keen on looking to sign regens for some of the players that retired last season, such as Gareth Bale. And if you're not familiar with the process, basically, when one of your own players retire, their regen should be available in the free agents next season. I've been pretty lucky in the past that some regens have just had an incredible overall. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for Bale's regen. Only at an overall of 70, there's no way that he's going to play a role in this save. Same thing with Fabian Schär's regen, slightly higher with a 71 overall, but again, the potential is just not going to be enough. More and more title updates have come out for FIFA 22, so maybe regens have been patched behind the scenes, because Ronaldo's regen, for example, just at a 79 overall. Pretty similar stuff with Lionel Messi. His regen, the highest rated out of the 4 that I've mentioned. But then you've got players like Henrik Mkhitaryan, who, to be fair, has played in the Premier League and was an incredible box-to-box midfielder, especially during his Dortmund days. His regen was at an 82. Despite only showing great potential, he was ultimately the player that I've decided to sign. I think we could slot him directly into that center attacking mid role if we continue to play our 3-4-3 formation, but at the very least, he's going to be a good squad rotational player that could fill into a variety of different positions. As far as transfers go, just a couple more loan deals that I wanted to mention, mostly former youth academy graduates. And because we didn't have much success in finding both Bale and Schär's regen, I figure they will be included in this month's scouting updates. England looking for a physically strong player, Wales to look for that Bale-esque type of player as we search for a technically gifted, and finally Switzerland looking for a defensive-minded player. A season-long position change for Nouri has finally been completed. No modification to his rating, but he will be making the change to left midfielder. And as mentioned earlier, it's going to be Mkhitaryan's regen that makes the swap to center attacking mid. With this summer's transfers, here is how the squad is looking. I plan on taking the same policy for goalkeepers. Basically, Navas will be featuring in most cup fixtures and Champions League fixtures. Unai Simon, on the other hand, will give us the best chance of repeating as Premier League champions. But as we get into the gameplay for this 5th and final season of the Newcastle Career Mode, if you're still enjoying the series, make sure to show your support by leaving a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Before we begin our Champions League campaign, we actually have a cup competition, the FA Community Shield. Again, it's against Manchester United. We've got a history with them throughout this career mode, arguably our biggest rivals. No Joe Gomez in our starting 11 as that transfer had not yet been completed, but still a good chance for us to try out some of our new signings as we prepare for Champions League. Here's a fun fact for you. Newcastle have indeed won the FA Community Shield way back in 1909, where they defeated Northampton Town. They did also go on to lose in the 1932 final against Everton. But getting into the modern day highlights, it's Richarlison who finds Kudus on the pass, and last season's struggles seem to be continuing. Just the quick passing tempo from the CPU, it's hard to defend. And the only way for us to win is to just outscore our opponents. Interesting save there from Lafont, but on the ensuing corner kick, it's Kim Min-jae. Haven't scored a lot of set piece goals, but now's as good of a time as ever to score one. Kim Min-jae has fought to keep his place in the starting 11, proving to be one of our best center backs, especially as the middle defender in our 3 at the back formation. You can see kind of a little bit of swerve on the header, and no way Lafont can get hands to that. Just a few minutes later, it's Manchester United again on the counterattack. Now it's Marcus Rashford slowing down the play, finding Kudus in the middle. Seems to be a center attacking mid that moves forward and almost acts as a false 9 at times, often playing ahead of Richarlison on the counter. We know Kudus from our Ajax career mode last year and how good he can be, and as a result of our defensive struggles, we are switching to a 4 at the back formation. The motivation behind that is that we can be a bit more compact defensively, and maybe that will be the difference. A foul here, though, from Ndidi in the 24th minute. The ref reaching for his back pocket. That is going to be a red card. First half red card, not what United needed, especially when they've got the lead, but they're still so good on the attack, the passing play, and this pass from Kudus is just ridiculous. Rashford timing his run perfectly. Had to go back and look at this one on instant replay, and he was indeed onside. It was just a well-timed run. But Saint-Maximin, as we enter the second half, is looking to get one back for us. Solid save from Lafont. Bit disappointing for Saint-Maximin not to go for the far post there, but we will make some changes and bring on Mkhitaryan's regen in the 51st minute. Finally, we seem to have a bit of momentum now as Willock finds Sarr on the right side. Again, another near post shot. We should be aiming for the far post in those situations. And I think the tactics talk finally got through to our players as Sarr gets one back in the 69th minute. Not often does Sarr take chances on his left foot, but this time he was so close to goal. There was such a low probability that he would miss. Adam Armstrong being brought on as a late substitute. If you watched the last episode, you know how much of an impact he can make. Has a knack for scoring crucial goals, essentially secured us the Premier League title last year, and he is going to give us the equalizer in this one. 77th minute, still time for us to play, as now in the 84th, it's Sarr finding Willock in the middle. The deflection falls to Armstrong, right place at the right time, but you've got to have the confidence in the first place to take that effort first time and get enough power behind this shot so that Lafont was unable to save it. Exactly how we want to begin our season. An FA Community Shield. Also a new captain for us. I figured it was time to pass the torch from Lascelles to Saint-Maximin as our highest rated player, and early on in the career mode, we made the decision to keep him here at Newcastle. Despite significant interest from other clubs, keep in mind, we began this career mode before the whole financial takeover and change of ownership happened for Newcastle IRL. It'll be interesting to see if any of the signings we've made in this career mode will also translate to the January transfer window for the club. We'll begin our Champions League journey later than expected. The 4th of November is where we'll start against Anderlecht, a home fixture, but we've got ground to make up. 3 matches played, and we've only accumulated 2 points. So long as we can pick up wins in the gameplay fixtures, the knockout rounds should be in our future. But we can't take any of our opponents lightly. I believe we played Anderlecht before. Might have been in the Europa Conference League, but they gave us a hard time there, and I'm expecting similar things in this one, especially considering they won the simulated fixture 2-0 in the away leg. But we have seen time and time again, there's something magical about St. James's Park. Maybe it's the home fans rooting us on, but we play differently on this ground. We'll see if we can do that today. It's Anderlecht with the first highlight. Some patient build-up play. We do manage to get the block in, though, and begin the counterattack. It's Armstrong who will get the start in this one. The reasoning for that is he picked up that crucial winner in the FA Community Shield, so I had a feeling he might be able to do something again. It's Saint-Maximin who was denied early on, and now it's Anderlecht on the ops end. Had to be a big save from Keylor Navas. It's what he's known for. Impressive reflexes, and we can again look to get on the counterattack. Cantwell finding Willock, back to Cantwell, and out wide to Sarr. Some space ahead of him. He will find Armstrong. Going for the cross, and it was lofted perfectly to Saint-Maximin. Might have missed out on a goal in the opening minutes, but he'll get it here as we again switch over to some Anderlecht highlights, and they were tenacious. Despite conceding, they were looking to get a goal back, and that they will. 30 minutes played, it'll be 1-1. We're approaching the end of the first half, and I think this segment of gameplay kind of sums up my current experience with FIFA 22. The passes just seem to lock on perfectly. I know Anderlecht are a quality side, but I don't think they have as much quality in their team to suggest such accurate passes, and we'll just have to find a way to respond as we get into the second half. 54th minute, Saint-Maximin latches on to the cross. He'll find Sarr, and that is going to be a volleyed effort to again find the equalizer. I'll say it's been an entertaining game to say the least, but here we were trying to hold a high line, maybe play some of those constant pressure tactics that have worked out so well for us. Unfortunately, that will lead to a third goal. We do have a chance to maybe get another equalizer because a single point could mean something in our Champions League group, but Anderlecht's defense was so compact, they do manage to clear things out of the back, and as 2 minutes are added on, it looks like they'll be hanging on to possession for this one. You've got to give credit where it's due. Somewhat of a masterclass from Vincent Kompany. They got the goals when they had chances, and defensively, they didn't really give us too much. It could have easily been 4 or 5 had it not been for numerous Keylor Navas saves, but with just 2 Champions League fixtures remaining in the group stage, we need to find a way to pick up wins. If we want a future in Champions League, this match against Leverkusen is a must-win fixture. Taking a look at our group, we're currently 6 points behind them. They've accumulated 2 wins and 2 draws thus far. One of those draws came against us. Some big signings as well, continuing their tradition of signing a lot of different strikers. Maxi Gomez, their new number 9, as he leads them out onto the pitch. Having switched over somewhat permanently to the 4-2-3-1 formation, our form should improve, and we start the highlights off with some good pressure. Solid save from Haradecki, but promising to see that we can at least get some shots on target. Impressive pass there from Gomez, pulling him out of position at right back, but that has not seemed to be an issue. His passing has been superb, and of course he's got the pace. But again, on these set pieces, this time it's going to be cleared off the line, but we will follow that up with another win. Lascelles eventually has the pass find Muñoz. He'll play through Sarr. Has had a few chances denied, but this time he'll square across, and it's going to be an easy tap-in goal for Saint-Maximin. He's one of the leaders for us here at Newcastle, and of course leading by example. Leverkusen getting one of their first highlights. Maxi Gomez having his shot saved from Keylor Navas. Another reactionary save there. Cantwell, now acting as a center attacking midfielder, will set up Saint-Maximin, and Haradecki can only do so much for the German side as Saint-Maximin makes it 2 on the day. It looks like we have this match in our hands as we continue that pressure. Cantwell, not known for his finishing, and that is showcased right here. That effort going over the crossbar. We're going to continue that pressure on the opposite flank. On the left-hand side, Saint-Maximin, again, has some supporting runs, and it's Cantwell who has a shot on his preferred foot go wide. Maybe showing that we need to invest at the center attacking midfielder position, but the 2 goals we had early on was enough to see out the victory. A big 3 points for us, and it means that our fate in Champions League will be decided on the final match day. Lokomotiv Moscow will be our final opponent to highlight. Can't say I know of too many of their players outside of Yedvay at the left center back position. Again, somewhat disappointed for the simulated result, having not scored and only netting 1 goal across all 3 simulated matches. Left me pretty shocked. We need a win and we need a Leverkusen loss. We don't really need to worry about goal differential too much because we'll have accumulated more points against Leverkusen head-to-head matchups, giving us the advantage. Given the circumstances, you can't ask for much better of a start than we're going to have here. A little bit of possession play to begin the match, getting an idea for how the CPU is going to act. But for whatever reason, the Lokomotiv Moscow player tucked in, and that gave Sar the space he needed to get in behind the defense. Of course, he's going to go with his signature cross-goal effort on his right foot, and that'll give us the early 1-0 advantage. I would argue that Sar has been the best signing that we've made so far in this Newcastle Career Mode. I knew he was going to make an impact, but honestly, I didn't realize how much of an impact he would make. But we do concede the equalizer 15 minutes into the match, just losing possession in our final third, and the CPU only needs a little bit of space to score those sort of long shots. An action-packed match, as in the 18th, we're going to get another chance. Good save from the Moscow keeper, continuing that pressure here, playing through Santiago. 1-on-1 with the keeper, also has a late run from Sar, and being a physical presence inside the box, he's able to win the header. 2 double saves will keep the match level, and now we'll have to go on the defensive front. It's our own keeper, Keylor Navas, making a save of his own as we turn towards the second half. Zakaria holding on to possession, playing through Muñoz. This time we'll go on the keeper's near post, pretty much waiting until the last moment, and I saw the keeper stepped an inch to his left, so we're going to take the most of that space as we now have a solid lead. Gomez winning a 50-50 ball, playing through Longstaff, unable to lock on, but we're able to get a chance just in front of goal, but cleared away, and we'll keep this match close. You got to give some credit to Moscow because they played like they wanted to win the match, even though on a points basis they will have no luck in doing so. Just a single point out of 5 matches played means that they're not even going to make Europa League. But I think the unsung hero throughout these highlights has been Keylor Navas. He has made save after save, and even in losing performances, he's kept us in a lot of matches where we should have been defeated. You could make the argument that that was the case in this fixture as well. Finally getting through on a counterattack, Saint-Maximin cutting in on his preferred right foot. This would have been in one of his signature finesse shots. But fortunately, just moments later, Cantwell will play through Muñoz, and he more or less hits this first or second time. He's progressed a lot as a striker throughout this save, keeping in mind that he started as an upper 60s rated player with only a potential of 81 to now becoming one of the world's best strikers. A 2-goal lead, and we're going to play through Saint-Maximin here. He's got enough pace to get by the Moscow defender, and we're going to pull out the chip to make it 4. We've done what we have been asked on this final match day, picking up a dominant victory. But of course, now we need to wait on how results went. A Leverkusen loss is what we need, and considering how dominant Anderlecht have been in our group, it is a genuine possibility, but we'll get into the mid-season recap and determine our future. If there's one thing I can take away from this Newcastle Career Mode, it's that it has not had its lack of drama. Unfortunately, on our final Champions League match day, despite picking up a win and a necessary 3 points against Lokomotiv Moscow, Leverkusen also managed a victory against top of the group Anderlecht, meaning that we finished 3rd and we will not be advancing to the knockout stages. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty upset when this happened, but I think it's still important to highlight this, showing that even for these YouTube saves, the same sort of things happen to me as I'm sure they do you guys. Speaking of the Europa League, our preliminary round matchup is against Dynamo Zagreb, who, to be fair, performed quite well in their group, ultimately losing out to Valencia. And for the Prem, some progress to be made, 10 points behind league leaders Manchester United, but I still think we could probably finish top 4 if we can catch some good form. Our top goal scorer for the club has been Santiago, up to an 89 overall, and I previewed how we can still make that Real Madrid transfer happen. Now that we've been knocked out of Champions League, maybe it is the time for us to complete the goal storyline. I want to outline some potential Real Madrid swap deals that we could pull off. We could sign a winger/striker, Also improving in the midfield for that kind of box-to-box center attacking mid player. And finally, we could get an upgrade at right back because right now, Joe Gomez is playing out of position. I'd appreciate hearing your feedback in the comments section because it is going to mark one of the biggest transfers so far in this Newcastle save. But getting back into the statistics, it's Cantwell that, again, leads on assists. I don't know how he continues to do it. One of our Youth Academy goalkeepers, Rory Feeney, up +4 in his overall to a 73. And again, we found another good Youth Academy prospect with Jonathan Smith, a right back from England at a 68 overall. It's too bad that it seems like we found more and more high potential players later on in the save because they're just not going to break into the starting 11. But a look ahead at January, we are into the semifinal of the Carabao Cup. Once again, it's Manchester United that we've matched up against. I don't know what it is with us facing them in this save, but I'll probably feature the final if we make it to that point. But as we close out today's episode, I want to thank channel members for supporting what we do here on YouTube. If you ever want to learn more about the membership program, click the join button right underneath the video, unlock some exclusive perks to the channel. Feel free to leave those transfer suggestions in the comments section. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, but until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you all again soon.